Hi everybody, welcome to the Stepping Forward with Kate show. I'm Kate Hellmers, and today we have Lea Alexander, Reiki Master and Animal Communicator. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So I'm going to read this so that people know exactly what you do. Okay, Lea's been an ordained minister since 1898.
Seems like it.
Since 1989, and teacher of the Ancient Wisdom and Reiki Master teacher since 1998. And it's a natural process to begin treating animals when you were treating humans with Reiki, etc. And you found you had a gift to communicate skills with helping during healing crises and behavioral changes and end of life scenarios with animals. Is that a good way to put it?
Animals have always been special to me and kind of tugged at my heartstrings, and I've always been able to have that. I think I've always known what they're thinking, and it just sort of came naturally, but I worked hard at encouraging it and developing it so I could really listen.
And bring forth your gift.
Right.
Okay.
Well, bring forth their voice.
Oh, okay. And before we actually get started, I have a tradition of 5 questions, just so that we all can get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
And here they are. So, what is a favorite book or quote?
Can I share both?
Yes, sure. Absolutely.
Because I'm showing my age probably in some of my things that I'll be sharing. My favorite quote is, "Age is only important if you're a piece of cheese."
Oh, that's cute. I remember that book.
And my favorite book is The Sound of Love by Campbell Burke. It was written back in 1974. I don't even think it's in print anymore, but it's an amazing book because it talks about, obviously, the sounds of love. And if you're only listening to the words or watching with your eyes, you're going to miss what is being shared in the vibrational level of love. And that book back in 1974 taught me that love is a vibration and how to open my heart and begin sharing at a vibrational level, which is much more subtle. And that's the area where animals
and clearly
communicate.
Brought forth your gift.
Right.
Wow. Oh, I'm going to have to look that book up. It sounds fantastic. And what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever received?
Okay. The first spiritual experience I ever had when I was 25, my husband had passed away unexpectedly.
Wow.
And the next morning after his funeral, maybe this is a little too much to share, but I was curled up in bed and I all of a sudden heard this voice that told me to get up, get out of bed, or else I would become this fetal position in my mother's home baby. And I flew out of bed so fast that I haven't stopped running or moving since.
Going forward.
Yeah. It's the thing that can help me pull myself up by my bootstraps is any time that I feel like I'm not moving forward enough or doing as much as I should be doing, I always hear that voice, get up, go.
Amazing.
You know, be of service, get out there.
Right. So connected that you're able to receive that.
Right.
So actually the next question is usually through tough times, what helped you? And clearly that was one of the things.
That was one of the biggest things, yes.
And what are some of your daily or weekly habits of your success?
Well, Reiki is a huge part of my life, and the Reiki practices, the meditation, and making it absolutely part of my essence is I think the most important practice that I've learned how to do.
And could you explain for those that don't know exactly what Reiki is?
Reiki is a Japanese healing technique, and it is more than just a technique. It's a spiritual practice that helps you evolve yourself in this life to move forward, and it helps you share. When it came west, it became known as a healing technique and modality, but in essence, in Japan, it really is a spiritual practice.
So interesting. And what is something that you like to do to relax?
Aw.
I bet I can guess this one.
Because I have so little time that my favorite thing to do is to just cuddle with my dog, Polly.
So, as I said, Lee is an animal coordinator, a communicator, I should say, and I have to disclose that I have actually asked Lee to go out to many of my clients when they've had problems where an animal was passing or there was an animal behavioral problem. And she has been able to help both the animal and the client with something to do to step forward. So if we could start at the beginning, and how do you actually communicate with animals?
Okay. You have to learn how to really quiet your monkey mind in a way, and learning how to meditate and go within and listen. It's a real active listening technique that you just kind of calm yourself down. I think everyone knows when their dog or their cat is talking to them when they're hungry or when they want to go potty, but I like to take it that deeper levels to listen deeply and really hear the voice of the animal, because I figure I want everybody to know that animals are sentient beings. They have feelings. They really have emotions. They feel pain and sorrow, and I like to give them a voice so that they can grow themselves, so that their people can help them in that process. And I get called on the most either if there's a severe behavioral problem or at the time of transition, at the time of death. And at the time of death, when I can allow the animal to help make that choice. I'm finding more and more the work that I'm doing lately is animals want to have a voice and they want to have a choice. They want to have a choice when they are ready to actually make the transition. They like to make the choice on how they're going to do it. And also they like to have a choice in their daily life.
Oh.
And it's been very interesting lately.
And when you say how they would do it or how they would pass, what are a couple of examples of the difference?
Well, some want to make it on their own. Some would like to actually transition on their own.
Oh, okay.
And others would like help from the vet.
Oh, okay.
Some don't care if they go to the clinic and have it done there. And some really want to have it be done at home with the family, where it can be intimate and private and calm.
Okay. I get it.
Those are just a few of the ways. Or there's the ones that will check out, and I'm not sure that it's a real choice sometimes, but to be taken out by another animal or to be taken out by a car accident or something like that. Okay? At some level, those are all choices. Okay? But when there's a choice that I can help them, help their people understand, then it becomes a mutual and beautiful experience as opposed to so painful and hard.
Right.
Yeah.
And out of curiosity, do you get messages when the animal is passed so that the person knows, where they've gone or if they're happy or?
I have a darling story about one little dog that came to her mom as a rescue, and she was elderly, and she died much too soon in her new home. And she let me know as soon as she transitioned, I'll be back. Well, she did. It was 2 months to the day of her passing that all of a sudden I can just hear her telling me, I'm back.
No way.
Yeah. And I got in touch with her mom, and she says, I've been thinking about her lately. And I said, I think she's back. And sure enough, we found her. She told me where she was. Well, I didn't know that she was in Utah, but she was wet, and it was wet and rainy and cold outside, and she was now a black Pomeranian instead of red, because I could see all this black fuzz. And then she told me there was 2 in the litter. So all of a sudden, her mom finds this litter in Utah, and she shows me her profile, because there was 2 babies in the litter.
Okay.
She shows me her profile with a perfect round little noggin and a ski slope nose. And I looked at the pictures of the babies and I said, that's her right there. 'Cause
Amazing.
it just was the exact little profile with her ski slope nose.
Oh my gosh.
And we knew she'd be home by spring, and by the time she was born, and home in the springtime.
Wow.
It was amazing.
That is amazing. So because it's all energetic,
But that doesn't always happen.
Right.
That was a rare case.
Because it's all energetic, do you have to be with the animal, or it can be long distance?
In fact, I actually do better long distance.
Really?
I tend to be too tactile and love to play with the animal, and I get distracted easily. So
By their love.
Right. So I find that I'm better off, that I can connect deeper
Okay.
if we do the long distance. And then what I do is I communicate with the animal for the hour before I'm going to work with their person,
Oh.
so that I'm in with their vibration and energy still when we do the conference call. And I'll do either a telephone call or a video call so that we can see each other. And I always record it so that I can send it to them, so that they don't have to worry or try to write down notes of what was said.
And what is an example or a story that you have of a behavioral problem
Oh, great.
or behavioral situation?
Okay. I have this young woman who's a police officer that called me, and she is has 2 lovely cockers adopted from Camp Cocker, and that's a rescue group that I support.
Okay.
And she called me one day and said that Stuart was acting up at daycare, and he was policing, just like his mom, the other dogs. If they got too excited, he would try to break it up. Well, the daycare saw it as him being the aggressor and intervening, you see, and they thought he was being aggressive, so he wasn't going to be able to come back to daycare anymore unless he could stop this behavior. So I communicated with him and found out that he was actually tired of going to daycare every day, that he would actually like to stay home every once in a while, that he finds it overwhelming to be in that much energy with all the dogs all the time, because if they act out, then he feels responsible to calm everybody down.
Oh my goodness.
So what we did was we asked him to give me a sign then on a day where he didn't want to go to daycare. So he showed me that he would leave the living room. The typical day is that Mom goes to work very early in the morning, so Grandma and Grandpa come over and pick up the 2 dogs and take them to daycare. And they get up on the ottoman and they get leashed and off they go. Well, when Grandma and Grandpa come in, if they can greet them, they can get a cookie and everything's fine. But when it's okay, it's time to go, and they get the leash, if Stuart doesn't want to go now, he runs in the bedroom and lays in his bed. And Grandma and Grandpa have had to learn not to coax him back out, that if he wants to stay home now, he stays home. And the other one, Piccolo, who he needs to go to daycare, he can't be alone at home, he goes off to daycare and Stuart stays home. And Mama has one of those wonderful video cameras that she can monitor him from work. And so she sent me videos. We were laughing for a week when it was happening the first times. She sent me videos of him coming home, or Grandma and Grandpa coming in, them leaving, and saying, as soon as they leave, oh, adios, they leave and let that Stuart by himself. And as soon as the double lock gets locked and he knows they're gone, he comes out very calmly and gets up on the couch for the day.
Oh. So there are no behavioral problems when he's home alone.
Right. When he's home alone, he's fine. Piccolo can't stay home alone, but Stuart can. Mm-hmm. And so that's perfectly works for them. And at daycare, the best part, of course, is that he now no longer is picking on the other dogs,
Because there's a balance.
Because he has a balance. He has a choice. If he's overwhelmed and tired, he can stay home and rest.
But he gave you a sign, or you asked him to give you
me a sign that would say, I'm overwhelmed today, I want to stay home. And there's days he chooses to go just fine. He's fine. And he picks the day now that he wants to stay home.
Amazing.
So animals love to have choice in their life.
Right.
And I've got another cat that I'm working with.
Really? Do
Name
cats
of
behave?
McDougal. He's a cancer survivor.
Wow.
And now that he's survived the cancer and he doesn't have to have as many treatment days and, you know, days away at the vet and everything, now he's wanting to do more things with Mom, but at whatever it is that Mom's doing, so that he can be included and not feel like he's left home all alone all the time. But then when she started taking him, he was also overwhelmed. So we have asked him for a sign. If there's a day that you want to go and she gets out the harness, what are you going to show? So he goes in the closet.
Yeah.
So the McDougal goes in the closet. If he wants to go, he comes out and gets harnessed up and they go. They take a walk, or she takes him to work with her, or he stays in the closet.
Oh my gosh, but she doesn't have to worry about him.
Right, because he's making the choice now as to how he wants to have his day experience.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And if you could just for a minute tell them about the horse story that we were discussing before, about the client, or the two horses, there was A and B, I don't remember their names.
I don't either. Oops, I'm sorry.
But she thought there was a problem with horse A, and then when you were communicating.
Right, the horse was let me know that the other horse was biting him. He was they were acting up with each other because he didn't like his butt being bit. And when she went out and checked him, sure enough, there were sores that the other horse was biting them. So when they separated them, then there wasn't that issue any longer.
But she had called and thought that horse B was just fine.
Right.
Sweet little angel. Until Mom left.
Yeah. Oh, they have such personalities. They really, they have humor. They like to fool us. They like to tease us. And this thing about choice is a really interesting thing that you know, they're growing just like we are. Their souls are evolving just like we are. And we've all come here for lessons. And one of the things that I think that animals are teaching us is that when they have choice, they're growing. When animals live with people, I think, there's a word I'm trying to say, animals that have been domesticated, is what I'm trying to say, tend to have much more of a relationship with people, obviously. And they've come to those relationships with people where their soul can grow and learn. And so they're evolving just like we are. And when they've come here to learn love, it is an amazing thing for their experience.
Yes.
Yes. So that's
On both sides.
on both sides. And what I can help the people do is understand that when it is time for the transition, that it's not so painful, and they can understand, you know, what their animal has learned from them and what their animal came here to do or experience.
And what the animal wants to do and how the animal wants to pass.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Well, it is 30 seconds of fun time.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is put on the clock 30 seconds
Okay.
on the little thing, and then ask you as many questions as I possibly can.
Okay.
Okay? Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Boom. Favorite season of the year?
Ooh, autumn.
Indiana Jones or 007?
Ooh, Indiana Jones.
Ooh. Eggs Benedict or maple oatmeal?
Eggs Benedict.
Beach or mountain or both?
Ooh, mountain.
Chocolate or caramel?
Oh, chocolate.
Movies to watch, do you like them at home or in a nice theater?
The experience is always better in the theater.
Oh, and roller coaster or carousel?
Ooh, carousel.
Oh, aren't those fun? Oh, there we go. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for being
You're
here. I
welcome.
so appreciate it. And to find out more information, I love the name of your website and your company. It's called Animal Heartstrings, animalheartstrings.com, and you'll find out lots of information, be able to get a reading with Lee if you'd like, and it's really, truly amazing. And for more information about our show, about animals and energy and Reiki, as far as animals are concerned, go to our free VIP club at your10keys.com and become a member for free. Thank you so much for joining the Stepping Forward with Kate show. I'm Kate Hellmers. Be blessed.